Singing off-key in the shower, playing the trombone in middle school band, and enough piano lessons to play Jingle Bells is the extent of my musical talent. But here at the Kansas FFA convention, the band is full of genuinely talented musicians that will be sure to have you humming along. 3 days ago, these musically gifted FFA members, representing 17 chapters, met in Manhattan to rehearse and pursue the perfect amplifying sound. While they share with us their musical talents, the Kansas FFA band hopes you sit back and enjoy their performance. This year, the band is sponsored by Kansas State University College of Agriculture and the Army ROTC. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you, under the direction of Miss Jovan Colley-Burden and Miss Chris Brenzakoffer, your 2016 Kansas FFA band.
Good evening. Welcome to the 2016 Kansas State FFA Convention. My name is Kenneth Dodson from the Coffeyville FFA chapter. Composer Elmer Bernstein is the only individual to be nominated for an Academy Award each of the last 6 decades. One of his most recognizable compositions is the Magnificent Seven, which we've just played and featured in the movie of the same name. Barbara Ann by the Beach Boys started our stroll through some classic rock. The band will continue with old-time rock and roll and Land of a Thousand Dances.
down to this performance. They have put in many hours of rehearsal over the past 2 days. How many hours, you ask? Something like 25 or 6 to 4. We kind of lost track. I'm Aiden Carnes from the Mary and Florence FFA chapter. It's time for a little audience participation. Kansas FFA, we need to hear you sing. You know the words to this Neil Diamond classic and the other piece we need your help with. After the first few notes, you will know what to do.
was great. You all should audition for the state FFA choir next year. Hi, I'm Amanda Nelson from the Prairie View FFA chapter. It's time for our officers and officer candidates to get involved. The Bunny Hop is a conga line novelty dance that was created in 1952 at Balboa High School in San Francisco. We will follow that up with a song recorded by the Kingsmen that is a rock standard, even though the original version is a Jamaican ballad.
up tonight's performance with four of the band's all-time favorites. That is.
This is Desiree Wittig,
And this is Natalie Morris.
and we are from the Cherryville FFA chapter. We're going to end this evening with the Jerry Lee Lewis hit Great Balls of Fire, and after that we will get a little crazy with Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train.
You are more than welcome to join in on the last two pieces because the band is definitely hot, and you will be too after the Wabash Cannonball.
What? No repeats. I don't know.
Thank you, and what an amazing performance. We appreciate your dedication to make this concert the best the Kansas FFA Association has seen. Your hours of preparation have really been expressed as you have amplified your sound and showed us what your musical teamwork looks like. We look forward to hearing another performance from the band in the 6th session. Please join me again in congratulating the Kansas FFA Band on a great performance. Let's also give a round of applause to the Kansas State University College of Agriculture and Army ROTC for sponsoring the band.
I've always been the kind of girl that hid my face, so afraid to tell the world what I've got to say. But I have this dream right inside of me. I'm gonna let it show. It's time to let you know, to let you know. This is real, this is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. Gonna let the light shine on me. Now I found who I am. There's no way to hold it in. No more hiding who I wanna be. This is me. Do you know what it's like to feel so in the dark? To dream about a life where you're the shining star. Even though it seems like it's too far away, I have to believe in myself. It's the only way. This is real, this is me. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be now. Gonna let the light.
Hey Bailey, what do you call a crocodile with a GPS?
What?
A navigator. Hey Bailey, what do you call an alligator that sneaks up and bites you from behind?
I have no idea.
A tailgater.
Okay, so now that those lame jokes are over, if you haven't guessed it yet, it's time for the Gator giveaway.
The locations that represent this year's Gateway giveaway are the American Implement, Carico, CTI John Deere, Great Bend, Q Heritage Tractors, Hiawatha Implement, John Deere Incorporated, Landmark Implement, and Prairie Land Implement.
Finalists, you must be backstage 10 minutes before the 5th general session tomorrow morning to have a chance at winning the Gator. You have to tell who's in the drawing.
Those entered in the drawings are American degree recipients, state degree recipients, Agri-Science Fair, Proficiency Award, and stars.
All right.
And the first person drawn is Andrea Vadir from the Inman FFA chapter. The second person drawn is Ty Wood from the Cherryvale FFA chapter. Third, we have Brooke Fault from the Mission Valley FFA chapter. Next is Kristen Isle from the Coffeyville FFA chapter. What number are we on? 4. Fifth is Samantha Beecham from the Holton FFA chapter. Sixth is Ryan Stewart from the Washington County FFA chapter. Seventh is Seth Radine from the Mission Valley FFA chapter. Eighth is Elizabeth Meyer from the Marion Florence FFA chapter. Ninth is Kristen Vidiska from the Center FFA chapter. And last is Riley Van Dong from the Holton FFA chapter. Get excited because one of you will be going home with a brand new Gator. Let's give one more round of applause to our sponsors at John Deere. Yep, that's good.
Check one.
Mic check.
1, 2.
Check.
Check.
Check 1, 2.
Check.
Check.
We lead with our voice, amplify, crank it up, soar it into greatness. There's no such thing as loud enough. We lead with our voice, amplify, crank it up, soar it into greatness. Ain't no such thing as loud enough.
Stand up and get loud. Speak up, speak out. Reach up and take hold. Surge into a life that is bold.
Amplify, our goals, our life, our voice. Amplify, FFA. Amplify, our goals, our life, our voice. Amplify. We about the action, honor, integrity. Boost up your impact, up into infinity. Electrify your voice, speak out. Crank it up until it leaves no doubt.
Sprint into a life where we never settle. Getting to the next level. Boost your impact, be influential. Make ourselves known and show them our potential.
Amplify, our goals, our life, our voice. Amplify, FFA. Amplify, our goals, our life, our voice. Amplify.
Members and guests, please rise for the national anthem, presented by Kiana Reed from the Republic County FFA chapter.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night
My grandpa, he's 95 and he keeps on dancing, he's still alive. My grandma, she's 92, she loves to dance and sing some too. I don't know, but I've been told if you keep on dancing, you'll never grow old. Come on, darling, put a pretty dress on, we're gonna go out tonight. Dance, 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 dance all night long. I'm a hard-working man, I'm a son of a gun. I've been working all week in the noonday sun. The woods in the kitchen and the cows in the barn, I'm all cleaned up and my chores are all done. Take my hand and come along, let's go out and have some fun. Don't believe in rules, don't believe in the stars. I believe you're made for your life, yes you are. Alright, alright, alright. You were born for this, you were born for this. Come on, light it up, it's your life you don't wanna miss. You were born for this, you were born for this. Come on, light it up, it's your life you don't wanna miss. You were born for this, you were born for this. Come on, light it up, it's your life you don't wanna miss. You were born for this, you were born for this. Come on, light it up, it's your life you don't wanna miss. You don't wanna miss you. You don't wanna miss you. Alright, alright, I said alright, alright. If you could lock the past away, step back through the doorway. This ride has just begun. If I could change your point of view, is there some way I can show you the best is yet to come? This ride has just begun. Is there some way I can show you the best is yet to come? What you know about standing up when the odds get stacked? Time stands still, ain't no turning back when everything you're worth is under attack. What you know about heart? What you know about that? Ride it off as criminal, a place to cast a stone. On and on we carry on when one is not enough. We are the ones who were born to rise. We are the ones with the fire inside. I go to war with the brothers I trust, and there ain't no stopping us. There ain't no stopping us. We are the ones who will bring the rain. We are the ones who will break the chain. I go to war with the brothers I trust, and there ain't no stopping us. There ain't no stopping us. We were born to run. Whoa. Yeah, yeah. If we stomp our feet, the ground will shake. If we clap our hands, the walls will break. Yo, so loud, won't forget our names. Cause something big is happening. Take this spark and start a fire. Raise this up, we're feeling high. They can't tell us anything. Something big is happening. I think I feel it happening out of my control. Pushing, pulling, and it's grabbing me. Feel it in my bones like, oh, 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 oh. Something big is happening. Whoa, 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 whoa.
The convention hall will come to order. We are now holding the fourth session of the 88th Kansas FFA Convention. Madam Vice President, are all officers at their stations?
I shall call the roll of officers, determine if they are at their stations, and report back to you, Mr. President. The Sentinel.
Stationed by the door.
Your duties there?
Through this door pass many friends of the FFA. It is my duty to see that the door is open to our friends at all times and that they're welcome. I care for the meeting room and paraphernalia. I strive to keep the room comfortable and assist the President in maintaining order.
The reporter.
The reporter is stationed by the flag.
Why by the flag?
As the flag covers the United States of America, so I strive to inform the people, in order that every man, woman, and child may know that the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to Puerto Rico, and from the state of Maine to Hawaii.
The treasurer.
Stationed at the emblem of Washington.
Your duties there?
I keep a record of receipts and disbursements, just as Washington kept his farm accounts, carefully and accurately. I encourage thrift among the members and strive to build up our financial standing through savings and investments. George Washington was better able to serve his country because he was financially independent.
The secretary.
Stationed by the ear of corn.
Your duties there?
I keep an accurate record of all meetings and correspond with other secretaries wherever corn is grown and FFA members meet.
The advisors.
Here by the owl.
Why stationed by the owl?
The owl is a time-honored emblem of knowledge and wisdom.
Being older than the rest of you, we have been asked to advise you from time to time as the need arises.
I hope that my advice is always based on true knowledge and ripened with wisdom.
Madam Vice President, why do you keep the plow at your station?
The plow is the symbol of labor and tillage of the soil. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much. My duties require me to assist at all times in directing the work of our organization. I preside over meetings in the absence of our president, whose place is beneath the rising sun.
Why is the president so stationed?
The rising sun is the token of a new era in agriculture. If we will follow the leadership of our president, we shall be led out of the darkness of selfishness and into the glorious sunlight of brotherhood and cooperation. Mr. President, all officers are at their stations.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. The Secretary will call the roll of members.
I am pleased to announce at this, the fourth session of the Kansas FFA Convention, there are 1,510 members, advisors, and guests present, Mr. President.
Thank you. FFA members, why are we here? To practice brotherhood, honor agricultural opportunities and responsibilities, and develop those qualities of leadership which an FFA member should possess. May we accomplish our purposes. I now declare this fourth session of the 88th Kansas FFA Convention duly open for the transaction of business or attention to any matters which may properly be presented. It is a tradition of the Kansas FFA to recognize advisors who are retiring by allowing them to take part in opening ceremonies at state convention. This year, we are privileged to recognize 4 outstanding and dedicated educators. Mr. Jay Bonenbluss from Clay Center, retiring after 32 years of teaching. Mr. Kevin Gleason from Uniontown, retiring after 34 years of teaching. Mr. Bill Johnson from Jayhawk Lynn, retiring after 31 years. And finally, Mr. Randy Kraft from Tonganoxie, retiring after 37 years of teaching. Thank you for your years of service to agricultural education and the FFA. We wish you all the best. We all have that one friend that's been with us forever. This couldn't be any more true than for our next chair. If you're looking for someone that you can have a 2-hour discussion with over presidential candidates, or maybe someone that can make others jealous with his swing dancing abilities, then look no further for this fun-loving, agricultural fact-spewing, passionate FFA leader. Please help me in welcoming your 2015-2016 Kansas FFA Secretary, Mr. Dean Eugene Clare.
Thank you, Carl, and welcome FFA members and guests to the 4th session of the 88th Kansas FFA Convention. I'm thrilled to serve as the chair of this session. I don't know what it is about Shania Twain, but ever since I was a little kid, I've been obsessed with her music. I still remember one day in middle school, a guest speaker visited, and he began his speech by playing a song. If we knew the name of the song, we were instructed to jump up, wait to be chosen, and name the song correctly for a small prize. When a Shania Twain song was played, you bet your bottom dollar I was the first one to jump up and yell, "Man, I feel like a woman." Just as I showed my dedication as a fan that day, we will see over the course of this session how individuals have dedicated their time to the Kansas FFA. First, your 2015-2016 Kansas FFA Vice President, Ms. Bailey Peterson, will give her retiring address. Next, we will celebrate individuals who have truly amplified their impact as we honor those receiving the honorary state FFA degree. Those who have excelled in the areas of extemporaneous and prepared public speaking career development events will be announced. The chapters who have succeeded in amplifying passion within the members in the area of chapter development will receive recognition. Finally tonight, Amber Lee Snyder will share her inspiring message with us. Kansas FFA, be prepared to amplify our sound and fill McCain Auditorium with excitement as we set foot into this action-packed session. Now, please join me in welcoming Blake Peterson and Christina Hoffman to the stage for a special introduction.
The impact Bailey has had on my life has been tremendous, from telling me how to play with my cars to forcing me into dresses when I was little. I always knew that her convincing tone and bossiness would get her somewhere. When Bailey joined ag in high school, I never thought that she would stay with it or even like it. But the experiences she had and grew through had an effect on me in the way that empowered me to also dive into a brand new experience and take an ag class. It could be said that I was forced into joining ag by my sister, but in reality, I'm just trying to have half the impact that she had.
When I first met Bailey, I really admired her strong work ethic and dedication to every FFA event that she competed in last year at state convention. Our friendship started during the emotional roller coaster of running for state office, and we've become closer ever since. This past year, Bailey and I lived together in a cooperative living house and grew even closer. I had the opportunity to watch her grow and give everything to FFA this last year. Whether it was drawing on our mirror to plan out a workshop or listening to her practice banquet speeches, I felt honored to witness her journey. Our relationship started in the Blue Jacket and grew through the sisterhood of our house. We've been mistaken as twins once or twice, and I get called Bailey on a regular basis. Now she's about to give her last witty thoughts, sarcastic remarks, and if we're lucky, she'll even throw in some of her sparkling personality. Please help us welcome your 2015-2016 State Vice President, Bailey Peterson.
all is king. Sweet tea goes good with anything. The fireflies come out when the sun goes down. Nobody eats till you say amen, and everybody knows your mom and them. You can see who loves who for miles around in a water tower town.
Growing up, some of my favorite memories have been at family gatherings. No matter whose house or what the occasion, the hub of the party has always been the family room. Now, I was a bit of an unusual child. I remember spending ages trying to figure out the difference between the living room and the family room, because that's the main concern of any 5-year-old, right? I was so confused. I mean, they both looked the same. They both had a couch with a coffee table and a rocking chair, yet they had 2 different names. And to add to my strangeness, growing up, my cousins and I would put on parades for the rest of our family. Now, our fashion parades, made up of outfits too big for us from my grandma's closet, with makeup smeared on, rivaled those of any fashion week. Not to mention our animal parades, which included more animals than any zoo I had ever heard of. But no matter the parade, our family would always stop and watch. Not because it was actually worth watching, although I imagine it was quite a sight. No, they stopped and watched because they loved us. From the moment we exist, we are giving and receiving love. Love that is built of love of experiences, love of others, and love of ourselves. Loving may be easy. However, loving with purpose takes some effort. It was a rainy, dreary day, a day meant for curling up inside with a good book. But where was my family but worlds of fun? Of course, it just happens to rain during my family's vacation. We spent the day skipping from show to show, which for a 12-year-old is really boring. I wanted to ride a roller coaster, but with the pouring rain, it wasn't gonna happen. We were about ready to give up and admit defeat and head back to the hotel when, in a moment of great luck, the rain let up, and there was even a ray of sunshine. And where were we when the sky finally cleared? But beside the biggest roller coaster I had ever seen. Let's go ride it. I'll even go with you, my mom said. But my courage had passed with the pouring rain. Suddenly, all those boring shows sounded a lot more exciting. The next thing I knew, I was walking towards the Timberwolf, searching for ways to get out of it. I thought maybe the line will be too long and we won't have to go. No such luck. Apparently, torrential rain had kept most people home that day because there was no line. And standing next to this wooden beast, I tried to convince my mom that there was no way that this thing was safe. But still, my attempts to avoid the roller coaster were in vain. Because the next thing I knew, I was strapped in and headed upward, climbing higher and higher and higher. And I silently said goodbye to each of my pets because I was sure I was never gonna see them again. And then, whoosh, the ride had begun. And after 2 minutes and 13 seconds of complete and total terror, the ride was finished. And it wasn't until I got back to my dad and brother that I said, that was the best thing ever. I rode again and again. I'm not sure how many times I rode that ride, but it sure wasn't enough. That may have been the beginning of my love of roller coasters, but more importantly, it was a chance for me to learn to love and experience. In every moment, there is some value. While the day may have been rainy, and I may have been absolutely terrified at first, riding that roller coaster was a moment with value. Finding that value lets us learn to love the experience. Loving the experience is the difference between going through the motions and living life to the fullest. When we love an experience, it becomes more than a passing moment. It becomes a memory. Our memories and our experiences shape who we are. So take a moment to scan through your brain and find a moment you love. What were you doing? What did you see? What did you smell? I clearly remember that roller coaster and the smell of the rainy air as we flew down that first hill. These moments that we cherish are moments that we were truly present in. Being present means that we are totally committed to the moment that we are in, and we aren't distracted. So, for the rest of the session, put your phone away, stay awake, and be present. But don't stop with this session. Be truly present in your agricultural education class. Be present during those long car rides that seem to stretch on forever with your chapter. And even be present during that conversation with a random stranger when they ask, "Why are you wearing corduroy during the summer?" We never know when these experiences may come along or what they may be disguised as. So be present so you can have more experiences you love. So it's no secret I'm not good at cleaning my room, and moving away from home this year, that hasn't changed. However, one thing has changed. I no longer have my mom there constantly reminding me to clean my room or take my dishes to the kitchen. This past semester, my untidiness began to spiral out of control. It started with just not putting my clothes away and quickly took over my entire desk. Under layers and layers of paperwork and textbooks, I swear there was a desk there. At least probably. I kept promising my roommates that I would clean my room, but then another project would get piled on top of my already overflowing schedule, and cleaning would just get pushed to the side. Another habit I've picked up on this year is working on projects while eating my lunch. And because the kitchen is always just so far away, soon a mountain of dishes appeared on my desk. It was the week of March 1st. I had a handful of exams and a big project due. It was at this point that the monster that was at my room was at its peak. My roommates counted. I had closing in on 30 bowls, plates, cups, and random silverwares scattered throughout my tiny space. Have you ever seen that TV show Hoarders? Yeah, that was my room. But coming home from my toughest exam and thinking about the next exam I needed to study for, I remembered that promise to my roommates that I would clean my room. And I opened the door and I looked, and Mount Bailey's dishes had vanished. And in its place was a sticky note. It said, "Random act of kindness, love, the dish fairy." Now, this was exactly what I needed to keep pushing through this week. A simple show of kindness made a big difference to me. This anonymous act of service demonstrated a love of others. The possibilities are endless when we love others genuinely. Now, I don't mean love in the typical sense. Did you know there are 9 definitions to the word love? By love, I mean an unselfish concern for the good of another or a desire to help someone. When we demonstrate this definition of love, we give with no intention of receiving in return. So how do we show this kind of love? Simply enough, serve others. Maybe this looks like sharing that last cookie, and maybe it's just encouraging someone. But the small things that we do travel farther than we realize. Take a moment and imagine a world where there was just a little more kindness and love of others. You don't have to give an internal organ or thousands of dollars to demonstrate a genuine love of others. The small things speak volumes. So when we get done here tonight, thank someone. Maybe it's your advisor for bringing you here, or hotel staff, or someone that just holds the door open for you. But why stop with a simple thank you when we can pass on those acts of service? Everyone serves differently, but what's important is that you pass on those acts of love. We all have an impact, but imagine what our entire FFA chapter could do. When we pull together all of that love, maybe in a community service project or volunteering locally, the impact our entire chapter could have is incredible. So how will you and your chapter pass on that love of others? Washington, D.C. is one of my favorite places to go. I have fallen in love with the city every time I've been there. Although during my most recent visit, I learned the hard way not to wear brand new shoes while walking for miles through the city. At the end of our nearly 7 miles of walking that day, my feet were quite literally bleeding, and I couldn't walk anymore. We had the opportunity to go on a tour of the monuments, and trying to be a good sport, I went along for as long as I could. But by the end of the tour at the Jefferson Monument, I couldn't put on a brave face anymore. I found a nice ledge, and I sat down, refusing to move. About this time, someone you all may have heard of before, Carl Wilhelm, joined me. We chatted for a while, and then out of nowhere, I said, "Why am I even a state officer?" He looked at me funny, so I continued. I said, "Everyone else on the team has something special or great about them, and I'm just me." There was a pause, and I figured he would give some joking answer, but what he said next was exactly what I needed to hear. He said, "Bailey, you act as if just you is a bad thing. You are on the team for a reason, and we need you. You hold us accountable, you keep us on track, and while you may deny it, you have a kind heart. Plus, you always have snacks, which is a bonus." About that time, it was time to head back to the bus, me limping in pain, and Carl helping me along, yet laughing at me, just as teammates do. Since then, I have thrown those shoes away. But like the scars on my feet, the memories of that conversation are here to stay. Perhaps the most difficult kind of love is loving ourselves. Moment of transparency. I am still working on this. But whenever I'm struggling, I remind myself that everyone here on earth has a purpose. We may not see it yet, but it's there. Even when we can't love ourselves, love that purpose, because that purpose gives meaning to our lives. I want everyone here to know something. You are worth so much, and your love is irreplaceable. So find that purpose and feed it. Maybe it's sharing the word of agriculture with someone who doesn't understand. Maybe it's volunteering at your local animal shelter. Maybe it's sharing a story with a little kid. But whatever it is, find it, embrace it, and love it. Sum up that purpose in a handful of words. And here's my challenge to you. Take that purpose and show us what it is. My team and I wrote that purpose on ourselves and took a picture. It looks a little something like this. Show us your purpose, because that purpose is a part of you, and you are worth loving. So after years of pondering, I finally figured it out. It's not the layout of the room that makes any difference. The couch with the coffee table and the rocking chair doesn't matter at all. Without family and the love that comes with it, the family room would just be an empty room. Our lives are the same if we don't fill them with love. Love of experience, love of others, and love of ourselves, we are empty. But with love, the possibilities are endless. So be present, serve others, and embrace your purpose. Kansas FFA, fill your life with love.
Be your best friend, tell the truth, and overuse I love you. Go to work and do your best. Don't outsmart your common sense. Never let your praying knees get lazy. And love like
Bailey, it's hard to imagine this year without your constant random stories that have no relevance to the subject at hand. Your unique abilities to spell, who knew there was more than one way to spell down? Your ability to make sure everyone is on task, and your deep, strangely deep passion for your cats and dogs, or really any animal you see. Most importantly, it's amazing to see your passion for this organization. Your dedications to the members is second to none. The Kansas FFA Association wouldn't have thrived this year without you. You make our team stronger and our friendships even better. Once teammates and always friends. Love Carl, Dean, Lane, Kyler, and Gabrielle. Kansas FFA, I'm proud to present to you your 2015-2016 Kansas FFA Vice President, Ms. Bailey Peterson. Your Kansas FFA Association is lucky enough to have many incredible individuals who devote their service to the organization and truly amplify their impact. Tonight, we recognize those faithful individuals by awarding them their honorary state FFA degree. Each recipient believes in the passion of each of us provided by the FFA so much that they have continually supported the efforts of our organization. Recipients of the honorary state FFA degree always demonstrate what it means to believe with passion. I now call upon your state president, Carl Wilhelm, to assume the duties of the chair.
It is always a pleasure to receive honorary members into the FFA. The purpose of this ceremony is to recognize, from time to time, the efforts of others on our behalf. Mr. Secretary, please read the section of the National Constitution which provides for honorary membership.
Honorary membership. Farmers, school superintendents, principals, members of boards of education, chapter advisors, teachers, staff members in agricultural education, business people, and others who are helping advance agricultural education and the FFA, and who have rendered outstanding service, may be elected by majority vote of those members present at any regular meeting or convention.
Mr. Secretary, will you introduce those who are to receive this honor?
Mr. President, members and guests, I am pleased to read the following names: Mr. Bill Disberger, Dr. Jason Ellis, Mr. Bill Johnston, and Mr. David Lehman. This evening, the first recipient of the honorary degree is Mr. Bill Disberger. Mr. Disberger, a former member of the Council Grove FFA chapter, was previously the livestock judging coach at Hutchinson Community College and provided assistance in hosting HCC Aggie Days. He is currently an admission representative for Kansas State University working with transfer students. He is a previous coordinator of the Veterinary Science Career Development event, which under his leadership has become a challenging CDE that prepares students for success in the veterinary science industry. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Bill Disberger as he's awarded the honorary state FFA degree. The second recipient of the honorary degree this evening is Dr. Jason Ellis. Dr. Ellis, a former member of the Wellington FFA chapter, is currently an associate professor at Kansas State University in the Department of Communication and Agricultural Education. As an associate professor, he invests his time and talent into future agricultural leaders as they work to become professional communicators for the industry. He is a coordinator for the Agricultural Communications Career Development event. He also dedicates his time and talent toward helping the Kansas National FFA officer candidates improve and develop their skills for writing and the written communication. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Jason Ellis as he's awarded the honorary state FFA degree. This evening, the third recipient of the honorary degree is Mr. Bill Johnston. Mr. Johnston started out his career in 1983 teaching agricultural education in the Riley County School District. He then continued on to Marmonton Valley and now serves as the instructor at Jayhawk Lynn, planning to retire at the end of this year. Throughout his career, Mr. Johnston has empowered hundreds of students to accomplish the goals they set and implement what they are passionate about. He is currently the president of the Kansas Association of Agricultural Educators and has served as committee chair for numerous positions within the KAAE. Please join me in congratulating Mr. Bill Johnston as he is awarded his honorary state FFA degree. This evening, the fourth recipient of the honorary degree is Mr. David Lehman. Mr. Lehman is an instructor in the Department of Marketing within the College of Business Administration here at Kansas State University. He's also the coach of the National Agri-Marketing Association competition team at K-State. This team helps individuals, many whom are former FFA members, and agricultural economics industry to become prepared for real-world situations. He's the coordinator of the Agricultural Sales Career Development event and does everything in his power to make it competitive and real-world applicable that it is today. Please join me in congratulating Mr. David Lehman as he's awarded his honorary state FFA degree.
I welcome you as friends of the FFA. It is my privilege as Sentinel to extend to each of you the symbolic hand clasp of friendship and brotherhood.
As reporter, I am pleased to inform you that the FFA is a national youth organization whose purpose is to develop agricultural leaders. Welcome to membership.
Your contribution as a useful citizen in our democracy serves as an example for our members to follow. As treasurer, I welcome you to our organization.
The FFA needs counsel and guidance from recognized leaders. As secretary, it is my pleasure to add your name to our roll of honorary members.
As Vice President, I welcome you to the FFA. I would inform you that our members learn to appreciate the dignity of labor. Without labor, neither knowledge nor wisdom can accomplish much.
On behalf of every member, I wish to say we're proud to have you as honorary members. May this affiliation prove valuable for all. I impress upon you that we look to you for counsel and guidance. It is because of the great respect we have for you that you've been elected to honorary membership. May we always cooperate for the benefit of all. I now confer upon you honorary membership in the Kansas FFA Association.
Please join me in congratulating the honorary state FFA degree recipients as they exit the stage. A baby calf is born and breathes air for the first time. The mother then cleans him off as the baby is now the center of her life. A baby penguin opens its egg for the first time in the cold Antarctic air as the father does everything in his power to keep the baby warm, cozy, and alive. Whether it is helping us with our first steps or keeping us warm, our parents have been with us every step of the way. They have protected us, kept us organized, and supported our endeavors no matter how crazy and ambitious they may have been. Tonight, we would like to recognize the individuals who truly amplify their love and compassion as they continue to strengthen our team's belief and leadership in infinite ways.
Mom, Dad, and Jack, thank you so much for pushing me to work towards any goal I set my mind on and for doing all you can to ensure that I find success. I love you all so much and would not be where I am today without each of you. Jack, you always make me smile. Even though we used to always fight, you became one of my best friends this year. I know that I can turn to you and you will have my best interest at heart. I cannot wait to see all that you will accomplish in years to come. Thank you for being the best, not so little brother. Mom, you were always there to ensure that I did in fact have a girly side. From gymnastics lessons to that perfect prom dress, you're my #1 decision maker. You have the ability to know just when I've taken on too many tasks or to tell me that I have steered off track. I value your opinion more than you know. Dad, you can always calm my nerves with your hugs or make me laugh when I'm feeling stressed. You have instilled a love of agriculture and livestock in me that I will always be grateful for. From your daily phone calls this year to you always making me smile, there's 1,000 reasons why I'll always be a daddy's girl. Kansas FFA, I am proud to present to you my parents, Jerry Gillum and Chrissy Gillum, and give to them their honorary state FFA degree.
Mom, Dad, Trent, and Daisy, thank you for providing me a lifetime full of adventures, memories, and more love than I deserve. Macy, though you chased me around the house when we were little, I am so proud of you for continuing to chase your own dreams and accomplish them. Thank you for pushing me to stay true to who I am and for me to chase my own dreams. Trent, thank you for paving a path that I could follow. Though I don't say it enough, your hard work and dedication allowed me to succeed, and I am more than proud to be your baby brother. Mom, your affection and true servant's heart pushes me every day to give it all to others in my life. Thank you for showing me what true faith looks like and for supporting me at every turn. Dad, thank you for pushing me to be my best. Though we may often butt heads, I think it's because we are so similar, even down to our looks, or so I've been told. We may be similar, but if I can become the man that you are, I know I will have succeeded. Kansas FFA, please help me introduce my parents, Mitch and Jenna Langbart, as they receive their honorary state FFA degree.
Mom and Dad, thank you for everything you've done for Alexis and me. Mom, I'm so glad I have your fun-loving yet determined attitude. You've shown me time and time again how important it is to chase after your dreams, even if that means going back to school to achieve them. Dad, I can't thank you enough for all the times you've sat there and listened to me talk. You may not always tell me what I want to hear, but you always tell me what I need to. Alexis, I can't think of a better person to have not just as a friend, but as a sibling. You've always been there and seen me at my best and my worst. Kansas FFA, it is my privilege to introduce my parents, Troy and Jolie Coberly, and present them with their honorary state FFA degree.
Dad, Mom, and Dylan, I love each of you and thank God every day for blessing me with such a wonderful family. You have shaped me into the individual I am today. Dad, you have always been there to support my dreams, whether you've agreed with them or not. For that, I will be forever grateful. Mom, thank you for always being there for me. When life wasn't going great, you were there for words of encouragement. When life was going great, you were there to cheer me on. You have truly been with me every step of the way. Dylan, whether you realize it or not, I have always looked up to you. I remember when we were little, I would look to you and try to do the same things you did. Although our lives have taken different steps, I still look up to you and am proud to call you my brother. Kansas FFA, it is my pleasure to introduce you to my parents, Dennis and Eunice Claire, as they receive their honorary state FFA degree.
Mom, Dad, and Blake, thank you for helping me grow into the person that I am today. From tough love to a kind word, you always know just what I need. Blake, you never fail to bring a smile to my face. Thank you for the random and uplifting messages. They mean so much to me. I'm so excited to see all the wonderful places the Blue Jacket takes me. Mom, thank you for helping me find my passions by whatever means necessary. We didn't always know what I was getting myself into, but you've always been there to support me. Because of you, I've learned to chase my dreams. Dad, thank you for never letting me settle for anything less than my best. Because of you, I've gone farther than I ever thought I could. From flawless driving techniques to the value of hard work, I'm so thankful for all the lifelong lessons I've learned from you. I love you all. Kansas FFA, it is my honor to present to you, my parents, Meryl and Joy Peterson, as they receive their honorary state degree.
Mom, Dad, Christina, and Josh, thank you for playing a tremendous role in my life. Mom and Dad, 19 years ago, we would have never guessed what I could accomplish. You were able to be by my side no matter what circumstance I was in. You saw the potential that I had when I didn't. You were able to give me kind words every time I needed them. Without you, I would be nothing. Christina, I can't wait to see what the future beholds for you, Maya, and Tyler. Whatever you put your minds to, you're going to accomplish. Thank you again for allowing me to be part of your family as Maya's godfather. Josh, what can I say that you don't already know? I love you and everything that you stand for, whether that's your family, your friends, or your hard work ethic. Thank you for always being by my side, and I can't wait to see what you're going to accomplish. Hopefully someday you'll let me stay in your mansion. Kansas FFA, it is my pleasure to introduce to you my parents, Kevin and Brenda Wilhelm, and present to them their honorary state FFA degree.
Our parents are some of the most reliable people in our lives. They've been there all along the way so we could amplify our passion and ability here today with FFA. As they exit the stage, please join us in thanking our parents once again. In addition to our parents, there are many other people who have had significant roles in our lives, helping us to be people we are today. With the family and friends of the state FFA officers seated in the VIP section, and all parents of the FFA members here tonight, please stand as we thank them for all they have given us and to the FFA. Shania Twain has released numerous albums in her time, and without a doubt, she ruled 90s country. Her third album, Come On Over, was released on November 4th, 1997. Since that time, it has become the best-selling country music album and the best-selling album by a female act. Both of yet are records that have to be broken. To top that, she was also the top-selling album of the 90s decade. All of these accomplishments have been achieved by her hard work and dedication for her passion of making music. The FFA has similar individuals who have served our organization with a passion so amplified, it's time we recognize them. The VIP citation is awarded to individuals who have demonstrated a lifetime service to the Kansas FFA Association. It is because of the dedication of these individuals that the Kansas FFA Association has continued to grow and prosper. Tonight, we award the VIP citation to Mr. Larry Hubler. Mr. Larry Hubler started his agricultural education career at the Council Grove High School in 1971. After teaching there for 6.5 years, he moved to Wabunzi, Alma. While teaching, he was actively involved in the Kansas Association of Agricultural Educators and served a term as president of the organization. Since retiring, Mr. Hubler remains involved in agricultural education. As an area field representative for Site's fundraising products, he visits each new educator in the state and uses the opportunity for them to listen to their concerns and provide wisdom to grow the success of their programs. He hosted the Region 2 Conference for the National Association of Agricultural Educators and serves on the board of directors for the Farm Credit Associations of Kansas. While he and his wife farm, you can also find him supporting the K-State Wildcats and the FFA. We are grateful for Mr. Hubler's lifetime commitment to agricultural education and FFA. Please join me in giving our VIP citation recipient, Mr. Larry Hubler, another round of applause. One of my favorite songs of all time, which also happens to be by the one and only, you guessed it, Shania Twain, is Rock This Country. One particular verse from the song says, "We're plugging in the power and cranking up the sound." In a similar way, the following members have plugged in their brain power and amplified their voice through the extemporaneous public speaking CDE. They have each given a 4 to 6 minute speech after only having 30 minutes to choose a topic and to organize their thoughts. Each speaker is competing to see who will represent Kansas at the National FFA Convention in October and truly rock this country. The group of speakers has been narrowed down to the best of the best. 4 talented individuals who present their speeches in the final round. After the final round, the scores were tabulated and the results kept secret until this moment, as we reveal the winner of the State Extemporaneous Public Speaking Career Development event. Please help me convey our appreciation to this event's sponsors, Casey and Tammy Neiman. Mr. Treasurer, will you please read the results of the extemporaneous public speaking event?
Placing fourth and receiving $25 and a plaque is Joel Nelson from the Jackson Heights FFA chapter. In third place, also receiving $25 and a plaque, is Wyatt Crable from the Kingman FFA chapter. The second place finisher receiving $50 and a plaque is Maya Pence from the Winfield FFA chapter. And this year's winner in the State Extemporaneous Public Speaking Career Development event, earning $100 and a plaque, is Elizabeth Meyer from the Marion Florence FFA chapter. Congratulations to all of the participants in this year's event and to Elizabeth, who will represent the Kansas FFA Association at National Convention this fall.
Please direct your attention to the screen as we view the clip of Elizabeth's award-winning extemporaneous speech.
The favorite activity of mine that my chapter puts on year after year has got to be our annual Ag Awareness Day. Third graders from all around our county get experience to different parts of the agriculture industry as members of my chapter promote different aspects throughout the workshops in the day. This year was no different, but one thing that really stuck with me was each of the group chaperones, who were teachers from the schools, learned as much, if not more, about the agriculture industry than the kids did that day. You see, even in my little hometown of Marion, people do not fully understand the impact the agriculture industry has and what goes into making that steak go from the beef cow onto your plate. This is one reason why I truly believe that urban agriculture holds so many possibilities for conventional agriculturists. Today we are going to examine urban agriculture by defining it, looking at the different opportunities that it holds, and why it is important for conventional agriculturists to promote it. The World Agriculture Organization defines urban agriculture as the growing of plants or raising of animals within and around cities. People who may never have seen these animals before have the ability to grow them right in their hometown. Urban agriculture should be promoted because of the different opportunities that it holds, as well as the educational experiences that people can have that can't be provided otherwise. So when we're talking about opportunities, what are some of them? The best example of these come throughout community gardens as well as farmers markets. Community gardens are a great place for people to get their hands in the dirt, literally. They're able to have hands-on experience that cannot be taught simply by reading textbooks about what farmers do. They are able to experience some of the frustrations and challenges that conventional agriculturists face on a day-to-day basis. Farmers markets offer a similar opportunity. They provide an atmosphere for interaction between consumers and producers. One of my favorite things within my own hometown farmers market is seeing those same people who are buying produce year after year slowly becoming the ones who sell it. Education has power like nothing else does, and urban agriculture is so vital to providing that to these urban areas. But why is urban agriculture important to us living here in Kansas, which is very much an agricultural dominant state? Because we're not alone in this fight. We still have urban areas within our state that do not fully understand agriculture. I recently had the opportunity to work at the Kansas State Fair as a district officer, taking care of the animals in the barn. You would be amazed with some of the names these kids come up for these animals. I had quite the tough time convincing a kindergartner that no, that's indeed a sheep, not a zebra. There are different things that hold so much importance in their lives. We never know what we could have an impact with if we don't try. Pretty much anywhere you look today, unfortunately, you can find a challenge facing agriculturists. Whether that be the lack of consumer awareness or the legislation that has been pressured by these consumers to make laws that ultimately affect how we produce. This is difficult because producers have to be able to feed a growing population with decreasing amounts of land. It is no secret that Monsanto says by 2050, we will have to feed 9.7 billion people on this planet. This is something that to keep in mind because urban agriculture can help consumers understand just how important our role in feeding the world is. This year, I decided it was definitely my favorite year for our Ag Awareness Day, but it wasn't until about 2 weeks afterwards that I found out why. You see, my friend Brenda, who is in her mid-40s, is a teacher and helper at the Hillsborough Elementary School that came over, and her little girl Cassidy was one of the members throughout the day. Now, Cassidy lives on a farm, but she doesn't fully understand, and that's something that will come with time. But her favorite part of that day was when she got to go through the community garden exhibit that we held. We had little baggies, snack baggies filled with dirt for kids to put little seedlings in. That morning, 2 weeks afterwards, Brenda had sent me a text showing me how excited Cassidy was, holding up her little sproutling in the bag. That is exactly what conventional agriculturists need to do for urban agriculture. By planting tiny seeds of knowledge, we never know what we can truly flourish.
We wish Elizabeth the best of luck representing Kansas at National Convention. Let's give all of our extemporaneous public speaking competitors and finalists one more round of applause. If you want to know what it means to amplify your voice, you can either A, listen to an entire Shania Twain album with the music turned all the way up, or B, listen to the talents of the next individuals. In the words of Shania Twain, they've got being right down to an art. Throughout the past year, these individuals have been tearing apart their manuscripts, talking to themselves or the walls repeatedly, and eventually perfecting their speeches with the goal of standing on this very stage and being named the Kansas FFA Prepared Public Speaking Career Development Event Champion. This week, the best across the state traveled to Manhattan until 4 individuals were invited to the final round. The results have been kept secret until this time, and here is the moment these individuals have been anxiously awaiting as we reveal the results. This event would not be possible without its sponsorship via Christie Hospital Manhattan. Mr. Treasurer, will you please read the results of the Prepared Public Speaking Career Development event?
Placing fourth and receiving $25 and a plaque is Saray Roberts from the Hillsborough FFA chapter. In third place, also receiving $25 and a plaque, is Natalie Harris from the Chapman FFA chapter. The second place finisher, receiving $50 and a plaque, is Andrea Chestnut from the Clay Center FFA chapter. And this year's winner in the State Prepared Public Speaking Career Development event, earning $100 and a plaque, is Morgan Hoke from the Girard FFA chapter. Congratulations to all of these participants in this year's event, and to Morgan, who will represent the Kansas FFA Association at National Convention this fall.
Congratulations to all this year's event participants in this year's event, and to Morgan, who will represent our association at the National Convention this fall. I now call upon Morgan to present your award-winning speech.
America, land of the free and home of the brave. It's also home to one of the greatest organizations on this planet, the National FFA organization. As a nation, we are like a function whose domain extends from negative infinity to infinity. All things are possible for us, and there is nothing that we cannot achieve. But while we enjoy our advanced technologies and revel in our continued successes, some of us have a tendency to forget that not every single one of us is as fortunate. 1 in 6 of us is hungry. It's not that there isn't enough food to go around. That is not the problem that we face. In fact, according to the United States Department of Agriculture, 40% of all food in the United States goes uneaten. See, the problem we face is far more complex and much more difficult to solve. The problem is food waste. Food waste, which is food that is lost or discarded, either during production, processing, retailing, or after purchase, is one of the most pressing issues facing United States agriculture today. In 2010, National Public Radio announced that 133 billion pounds of food were lost. That's 141 trillion calories, or 20 pounds per person per month. These food losses totaled over $161.6 billion. In a nation where 50 million Americans don't have access to enough food, the average American still wastes 10 times as much food as an individual in Southeast Asia. So what exactly is causing this incredible amount of food wastage? Well, it starts in the field and extends all the way to the fork. Each year in the US, approximately 7% of all planted fields are left unharvested. Part of this can be attributed to a shortage of migrant workers due to stricter immigration laws enacted in recent years. Farmers may also decide not to harvest a crop due to damage sustained by pests, disease, or weather, or because market prices are simply too low to cover the cost of harvest. Food safety scares have an effect as well. In 2008, the FDA issued a warning about salmonella in tomatoes. These warnings proved to be unfounded, but the damage was done, and negative perception among consumers decreased overall demand. Post-harvest, culling is the main reason for losses. Products are removed if they don't fulfill criteria based on size, weight, color, and blemish level. farmers estimate that between 20 and a full 50% of all food they handle is unmarketable but perfectly edible. During processing, losses are caused by technical malfunctions, improper storage or handling, or overproduction. Once processed, these foods are sent to stores where the food loss only continues. The USDA reports that supermarkets lose $15 billion annually from unsold produce alone. Industry consultants estimate that up to 1 in 7 of all truckloads of perishables delivered to supermarkets is thrown out before ever reaching the shelf. Even once purchased, there is no guarantee that the food will ever be eaten. Households and food service operations, like restaurants, account for the loss of 86 billion pounds of food annually. Between 4 and 10% of all food purchased by restaurants is thrown out before ever reaching the customer. Plate waste is a contributing factor as well, mainly due to increasing portion sizes, which the average consumer cannot complete in a single sitting. Restaurants aren't the only ones to blame, however. The average American household throws out a full 25% of all food and beverages they purchase. Now, it's clear that many things contribute to food waste, so the solution to this problem must be multifaceted. Changes in supply chain operation, increased public awareness, enhanced market incentives, and adjustments in consumer expectation and behavior are all necessary in order to ensure that the U.S. no longer wastes food on such a large scale. Some steps have already been taken. The USDA and Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, have collaborated to form the U.S. Food Waste Challenge, which aims to reduce food waste in United States public schools, educate consumers, and develop new technologies to conserve food. As part of this challenge, an app called Food Keeper was developed by the USDA, Cornell University, and the Food Marketing Institute. Launched in April of 2015, the app provides information on how to properly store and cook food to prevent spoilage and wastage. Some individual businesses have also taken initiative to reduce food waste within their own operations. The chain store Stop & Shop now saves $100 million annually after implementing a simple program to evaluate the freshness of products in their perishables department. The Farm to Family program in California recovers more than 120 million pounds of food per year to distribute to food banks. The United States can also take cues from Europe, where great strides have already been made to reduce food waste. The European Parliament has vowed to eliminate waste 50% by the year 2020. In the United Kingdom, a public awareness campaign known as Love Food, Hate Waste has been responsible for reducing household food waste 18% in just the last 5 years. Additionally, the nation as a whole needs to make a concerted effort to support farmers in our nation's largest endeavor. Agriculture is the single most important industry in the world, and it needs to be treated as such. Let's not forget that the individual consumer can make a significant difference in reducing food waste by educating their friends, family, and coworkers about the importance of this issue. They can make the decision to be savvy shoppers and to purchase products that may have variations in size, shape, or color. In doing so, they support an industry that supports America, and they support making a change that benefits our nation. Reducing food waste in the U.S. would have many benefits to us. Keeping food diverted from landfills cuts down on the U.S.'s total methane emissions by over 20%. It also cuts down on the waste of the resources needed to grow that food, such as water, fertilizer, pesticides, and energy. Most importantly, that saved food and money can now go towards solving the hunger of over 50 million Americans. A nation whose possibilities are limitless, whose domain extends into infinity in both directions, can solve the problem of food waste. American agriculture holds the key to creating the first ever nation without a single hungry mouth. All we must do is unlock the door. Thank you.
Kansas FFA members and guests, let's give Morgan one more round of applause and wish her luck as she competes at the 2016 National FFA Convention and Expo.
Our goals, our life, our voice.
The purpose of the National Chapter Award Program is to recognize those chapters who have had a purposeful and impactful program of activities. This part of our program is sponsored by Southwestern Association Western Farm Show, a trade association for agricultural equipment dealers in communities across Kansas. Join me in thanking Southwestern Association for their sponsorship. Our next award recipients have excelled in the area of chapter development. Each of these chapters have designated activities that amplify FFA and agricultural education. This is successful when the activity promotes teamwork and brings the chapter closer together. Mr. Treasurer, will you please read the names of the award-winning chapters?
In the Bronze Division, Atchison County. Caney. Inman. Iola. Jackson Heights. Medicine Lodge. Quinter. Rock Hills. Join me in congratulating these winners in the Bronze Division once again. In the Silver Division, Axtell, Blue Valley, Center, Cherryvale, Eudora, Fairfield, Fort Scott, Fredonia, Girard, Jayhawk Lynn, Jefferson West, Lynn, Meridazine Valley, Marysville, Natoma, Prairie View, Republic County, Rock Creek, Royal Valley, Russell, Sabetha, Southern Coffee County, Southwestern Heights, Stafford, Udall, Uniontown, Valley Heights, Wamego, Washington County. West Elk. Wichita County. Yates Center. Let's give the chapters in the Silver Division another round of applause. Please direct your attention to the screen as we highlight the chapters ranking in the Gold Division. The chapters ranking in the Gold Division are the Anderson County FFA chapter, the Arkansas City FFA chapter, the Buhler FFA chapter, the Chapman FFA chapter, the Clay Center FFA chapter, the Doniphan West FFA chapter, the El Saline FFA chapter, the Ellsworth FFA chapter, the Gossel FFA chapter, the Hayes FFA chapter, the Hiawatha FFA chapter, the Holton FFA chapter, the Hugoton FFA chapter, the Mission Valley FFA chapter, the Norton FFA chapter, the Riverton FFA chapter, the Tonganoxie FFA chapter, the Winfield FFA chapter, let's give all the chapters receiving recognition in the Chapter Development Division one more round of applause.
voice. Amplify, crank it up, soar it into greatness. There's no such thing as loud enough. We lead with our voice. Amplify, crank it up, soar it into greatness. Ain't no such thing as loud enough. Stand up and get loud. Speak up, speak out. Reach up and take hold. Step into life, a light that is bold. Amplify. Our goals, our life, our voice. Amplify. FFA. Amplify. Our goals, our life, our voice. Amplify.
It is my honor to introduce your keynote speaker this evening. Amberly Snyder is a recent graduate from Utah State University with a bachelor's degree in agricultural education, and she is now pursuing a master's degree in counseling, while continuing to compete on the Utah State University rodeo team. Through all of the challenges and adversity Amberly has had to face, it hasn't stopped her from achieving any of her goals. She has let the challenges she faced refine her, but not define her. She was voted the fan exemption contestant at the All-American Rodeo and competed with the best in the industry and received a standing ovation from more than 40,000 fans in the AT&T Stadium and won over the hearts of America. Amberly has turned her tragedy into triumph and is inspiring all of America to get back on the horse. Please help me in welcoming to the stage Amberly Snyder.
Tell me where you want me to go to. All right, hey guys. So I actually am gonna start with 6 volunteers. So I have 6 volunteers that are already pre-picked, sorry. So I'm gonna have them come out on the stage. I think they're over here. All right, all right. Okay, so of you 6, which one of you have sat in a wheelchair, played in a wheelchair, driven a wheelchair, any of the above? You have. Okay, so of you 4, which one of you want to ride in my wheelchair? Perfect. I'm gonna have you stand right here by this chair. I'm gonna have you 2 gentlemen come over here. You just have to hold this board still. So whether you put a foot on top of it, one on either side of it, as long as that board doesn't move. Sound good? Okay, I'm gonna have now, which one of you guys thinks you're the strongest? I'll just laugh. I'm gonna pick you, all right? You're right here too, you stand by this chair. All right, you 2 ladies, I need to have one of you on either side of me. Come a little bit closer. Come a little bit closer. A little bit closer. A little bit more. Okay, you 2 can't move. Fire alarm goes off in this building and you 2 are staying right here. Perfect. All right, tell me your name. Cordell. Cordell, I'm Amberly. I'm gonna have you ride in my wheelchair. All right, so this is what your job is gonna be. Cordell, you're gonna do an obstacle course in my chair. So let me jump out. This is Arrow right here. Be nice to him. You can come and take a seat. All right, Cordell, what your job is going to be is to go backwards through these 2 without running their feet over, weave through these cones, jump that board, and then wheelie in a circle. All right? Now, this isn't necessarily a race, but it would be great if you could do this all in under 60 seconds. All right? Perfect. They believe you can do it. Your job is just to, kind of be behind him just in case something goes wrong. So your job is the spotter, all right? So he probably doesn't need you to do through these, maybe just when we get to those last 2 obstacles. All right, perfect. All right, go ahead. Now, girls, don't move your feet. Give Cordell a round of applause. He's through the first obstacle. All right, so next you just need to weave through those cones without tipping them over. Good, good, good. One more. Give him a round of applause. He's through the second obstacle. Okay, now wait. Before you do these last two obstacles, I need to make sure everybody in here knows I'm not responsible for any injury or death that could occur for these next two moments. You've got 3 tries to finish the next 2 challenges. All right, ready, set, go. Give him a round of applause for his effort. Maybe if you'll bring me my chair back. My dear spotter, where were you? You kind of just let him crash. Slightly funny, but maybe not your job. All right, if you'll hold this still, Cordell, while I jump, that would be great. Okay, you can give Cordell and my spotter a round of applause, and you two can go sit down. Thank you. Let me get this fixed. All right, so you guys saw this obstacle course that Cordell needed to do. He had to go backwards through these 2 without running their feet over, which he did an excellent job of. Give these 2 a round of applause. They can go sit down. He had to weave through these cones without tipping them over, which he did super great. Then all he needed to do was jump this board and wheelie in a circle. Pretty simple, right? Give these 2 a round of applause. You guys can go sit down. So these obstacles are easier for me than they are for Cordell. These are things that I do every day. Wheelie, not run people over, weave in and out of tight spaces. These are things that I have to do all the time. They're easier for me than they are for Cordell because he's not used to them. Every person in this room is going to have obstacles in their lives. Never compare yours to somebody else's. You're all going to have your own unique challenges and your own way of facing them. So I want to start by telling you a story. Now, this is a story about my first date. Now, any of you who are old enough who have gone on your first date, think about that for a minute. Were you nervous? If you say no, you're lying, because I don't care what stud muffin you think you are nervous on your first date. So I'm going on my first date in a wheelchair, and I'll tell you what, I am nervous. I am thinking there are so many things that could go wrong. So we go out to dinner, and so far everything is great. I mean, I'm looking great, he's looking great, we're looking great together at this point. We come outside the restaurant, and lo and behold, there is this curb. Now, I've learned how to go down a curb. You get right up next to it, you get in a wheelie, you pop on down. Pretty simple, right? Now, before I can continue this story, I need to make sure we're all on the same page in here. In all things, in all times, and in all places, whether a boy is around or not, it will be his fault. Boys, if you don't know that, learn that right now. So I'm going to tell you what, I'm in a wheelie, I'm getting ready for this curb, and this boy says, "Hey, Am, do you need any help?" Well, I have gone 18 years of my life being very independent, and now here I am in this situation where I needed a lot of help. Made me pretty frustrated, so I told that boy, "No, I've got this." But of course he distracted me, so one wheel went down before the other. Now when that happens in a wheelchair, you flip over. So here I am, flipped over on my back in this parking lot thinking, oh my gosh, my nightmare just came true. That boy looks at me and says, "Do you need any help now?" I said, "Yes, I'm gonna need your help to get back up." So he comes in front of me and puts out his hands. I said, that's not gonna work. I don't blame him. This boy doesn't know if he should be laughing, crying, or pretending like he didn't see this happen. So I said, okay, I call it a princess carry. You're gonna need to put one arm underneath my knees, one arm behind my back, and pick me up. I thought for sure he was strong enough for this task. So he comes over, he puts one arm underneath my knees, one arm behind my back, and he does in fact pick me up, but then we look down at my wheelchair, still flipped over. His solution at this point is to kick at my wheelchair. He is kicking at it. He finally gets it up. The brakes weren't on. So it starts rolling across this parking lot. Yeah, just picture this for a minute. Boy carrying girl chasing wheelchair across the parking lot. This is what is happening on my first date. I am freaking out. So we finally get my chair caught. He gets me down in my chair, and only then does this couple walk out of the restaurant. And I thought, this is gonna be funny for me now. So I looked at that couple. I looked at that boy. I turned back to that couple and said, can you believe this kid? He just dumped me out of my wheelchair. Oh, he was petrified. But this was an experience where I was literally knocked down. I mean, I was laying on my back in this parking lot. I needed the help, but I was able to get back up. There's going to be experiences in all of our lives where we're that person that's knocked down. We're that person that needs help. Don't be afraid to ask for that help when you need it. It's what we're here for. We're here to help each other grow and succeed, become better. Don't be afraid to ask for that help and always be willing to offer. So I want to tell you guys about the greatest year of my life. It was in 2009, senior year of high school, right? I graduated in 2009. You can run for state office the year after you graduate. So I ran for office against 26 other kids and not only was elected, but was elected as the Utah FFA state president. During that year of office, I traveled around to different high schools and figured out how much I loved to teach. Now, when you guys figure out what you want to do for the rest of your life, it's a pretty neat feeling. I realized during that year of office that I wanted to become an agriculture education teacher. Graduated from Utah State and am now pursuing a master's in school counseling. Pretty neat when you figure that out. Secondly, I was competing in rodeo. So I've been riding horses since I was 3 years old. I've been competing in rodeo since I was 7. I mean, I can tell you, it's not what I do, it's a part of who I am. You think about what you love to do. Maybe it's playing a sport, maybe it's showing, maybe it's doing some sort of art, I don't know. Whatever you love to do, this is what horses were for me. In 2009, it was my senior year of high school. I graduated making it to the National High School Finals, which only the top 4 in every event can make it to. And then I made it to the National Little Britches Finals the week after and came home with everything in that bottom picture. 2 saddles, 11 buckles, and a finals and World All-Around title. Only one person can leave the World All-Around Cowgirl, and that year it was me. So I'm telling you what, I am on top of the world. Icing on the cake, I graduated with 4.0, which is a goal I'd always had. Not only applied to these colleges when I was accepted, but was offered scholarships. So at 18 years old, I can't imagine life being any better. Well, this picture right here, this is January 10th, 2010, at a little bit after 10 o'clock in the morning. I was offered a job in Denver, Colorado, and was going down there to work for 2.5 weeks. I left Logan, Utah at about 4:30 in the morning to start my drive. I got back in my truck in Rollins and made a decision that definitely changed my entire life. I wore my seatbelt all the time. My truck would ding at me if I didn't have it on. But this morning I thought I'm gonna take it off just for a minute. I had a stomachache that whole morning and I thought I'm gonna give it a break. Well, less than 10 miles down the road, I was going through Sinclair, Wyoming, and I looked down to check my map. When I looked up, I'd faded over a lane and was heading towards a mile marker on the side of the road. I grabbed my wheel to correct my truck and it just sent me sliding across this highway. I thought, if I can keep my truck from rolling, I'll be okay. So I grabbed my wheel with both hands and I'm bringing my truck back straight. And there was a moment where I thought, okay, I've got this. Right then, my back right tire caught the dirt on the side of this highway and pulled me completely sideways. So at 75 miles an hour, my truck is picking up off the ground to start rolling. At 18 years old inside of it, I'm thinking this is it. I mean, I'm going to die right here, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. I closed my eyes, and I could hear the banging and crashing going on around my head. I felt myself pick up and leave through my window. At 70 miles an hour, I hit this on the side of the highway. I hit it across my stomach, folded around it, broke it off, and carried it another 20 feet with the fence. When I opened up my eyes, I saw my truck. And I thought, I'm so glad I'm not in there. If I had been in there, maybe I wouldn't be here. Well, as I'm sitting on the side of this highway, I thought I better do a self-evaluation. So I landed in this snowbank with my feet out in front of me. So I felt my head first. I was thinking, okay, I didn't get knocked out at all, so I remembered everything. I moved to my hands next, moved my fingers. They were okay. Lastly, I looked to my feet, tried to move my toes. Nothing happened. I started pinching, rubbing at my legs to try to feel something. All I felt like was I was in warm water from the waist down. I knew something was truly wrong, but I had to wait for somebody to come and find me. So between 5 and 10 minutes goes by before the first person shows up. He asked what happened. I told him. He gets on the phone with 911. Second person shows up, and I told him, I said, I had a blanket on the passenger side of my truck. I don't feel cold, but I've got to be going into shock. Third person shows up. It was a woman, and I asked her if she had a phone. I said, I've got to call somebody. I decided to call my dad. This is how the phone call goes to my dad. Hey, Dad. He said, hey. I said, so I got in a car accident. He said, okay, how bad? I said, pretty bad. I rolled my truck. He said, are you all right? I said, I can't feel my legs. He said, Amberly, are you paralyzed? I said, Dad, I don't know. I'm just telling you I can't feel my legs. At that point, the cop had shown up to this accident site, so I told him I had to go. They load me in the ambulance, and they take me back to Rollins, which is where I very first heard the news. The news I was pretty sure I already knew, but nobody had said out loud yet. I'm laying on this hospital table. Doctor walks in. I don't even think he was talking to me, but he starts talking about being paralyzed. I said, whoa, wait a minute. What are the chances of me feeling or moving my legs again? He said, slim to none, but more to the none. So at 18 years old, I'm laying on this table by myself trying to take in that information. I mean, how am I going to finish my year of office? How am I going to ride my horses? I can't spend the rest of my life in a wheelchair. They load me in a life flight helicopter and they take me to Casper, where I go through 5 hours of surgery, which left me with a whole lot of hardware on my back. When I woke up from surgery, my mom was there, and she said within an instant I'd gone from this is one of my senior graduating class pictures, to this. Neck brace, broken back, on oxygen, not sure what the rest of my life was going to hold. Now, I spent 10 days there in Casper before I was finally strong enough to fly back to Utah for therapy. But before I get to my days of therapy, I need 3 more volunteers. So if I can get my 3 more volunteers. Perfect. All right, so in this bag, I have 3 different items. These guys are going to take turns drawing one out, and then I'm going to tell them what they've got to do with what they've drawn out. Sound good? Looks like you're first. Don't peek in there. Show everybody what you got. A pink leopard scarf. You just need to put that on and give us your best model walk-in pose. Right here for everybody to see. Pose it. Give her a round of applause for her model walk. All right, who's next? Show everybody what you got. A little wooden chicken. You're just going to need to give us your best chicken imitation. Right here for everybody. Give a round of applause for her chicken. All right, last but not least. Show everybody what you got. A Snickers bar. You're not allergic, right? I just need you to open it up and take a bite. Round of applause for his good work. I'll take that scarf. You guys can go sit down. So in this bag, I have 3 different items. In this bag, I had 3 different obstacles, you could say. This bag is a little bit like life. We all have to continue to draw out of this bag of life for our next obstacle. It might be something great. It could be something hard. It may even be something embarrassing. Now, we all have to continue to draw out of this bag of life. We don't always get to choose what we draw out, but we do get to choose how we're going to handle it. So I'll tell you what, January 10th, 2010, I feel like I drew out the biggest obstacle of my life, and I now have to decide how I'm going to handle it. So the very first day of therapy, my nurse walks in my room and she says, Amberly, we need to set some goals. I told her, easy. Walk, ride, rodeo. I said, that's all I care about. She gave me the look like, girl, you have no idea how hard this is about to be. Now, she was right. I had to set smaller goals, like being able to move myself from my chair to a bed, or to be able to wheelie, or even to get dressed in the morning. Everything was hard. But I set those smaller goals so I could get to my bigger ones. So the first one was walking. Now, I didn't leave the hospital walking like I planned on, but I got these leg braces after I left, and that picture on the bottom is the very first day that I stood on those 2 legs. Maybe not ideal, but for me it was enough to check it off the list. And I want to tell you a story. It was about 3 years after my accident. I was invited to Cheyenne, Wyoming for a rodeo out there called the Daddy of 'em All for a charity event. Well, this time was the first time since my wreck I was going on that same road 3 years prior. I have my mom with me, and she wants me to walk her through the steps of that morning. So I'm telling her, Mom, this is the last place I ate. This is the last place I filled my truck up at. Mom, this is Rollins. This is the last place I was walking. And this span of fence, well, that's where my life completely changed. So, of course, this is pretty rough on both of us, and about 20 minutes later, we stop at a gas station. I wheel into that gas station, and hanging on the wall is this quote. Attitude is a little thing that makes a big difference. I realize I've had all those last moments before this. But because I'm still here, and with the right attitude, I can make my first even better than those last were. You all are going to have those lasts in your life. Maybe this is your last year of high school. Maybe this is your last FFA convention. Don't be afraid to make your first even better, because you're still here, and with your right attitude, you can make those better than those lasts ever were. Attitude is a little thing, but it makes a big difference. So now I want to get to my second goal, which was riding. I told myself, if I get back on my horse, that will be the one thing that will never change. I'll tell you what, that very first day I sat in that saddle, that day was harder for me than the day they told me I'd never walk again. It was in that moment I realized every part of my life was different. Nothing was like it was before. So I went through the modifications that summer. I got a seatbelt on my saddle, Velcro straps around my legs, my feet are rubber banded in, I have a nylon strap across my left hip, and I sit on a seat of air like my wheelchair seat. All of these pieces are to hold me center, balanced, and protected in this saddle. So I rode through that first summer. 4 months was the first time I got back on. I rode through that first summer, and come August, I had an experience that made me frustrated. Frustrated enough that I told my mom, sell my horses. Said I can't train them like I used to. It's not worth it. Well, I go to school that fall, and I have an experience that fall that changes my perspective. So I have a question for you all in here. How many of you in here now, since I can't see you, you're going to have to cheer. How many of you in here have shot a gun? Okay, Kansas FFA, I'm not really surprised. I'm going to tell you, I was a little bit behind the curve of all you people, all right? The first time I shot a gun, it was when I was like 16, all right? I don't come from a hunting family. The biggest thing I ever shot was a .22 rifle, so not real big. Well, in the fall after my accident, I get this email asking if I want to fill a muley buck tag in the corner of Utah. Thought, why not? So we go down to Utah. Now, I can shoot from within a truck legally, and then there was this big alfalfa field that these deer would drop into. And first night we're there, it's about 5:30, right? These deer start dropping into this field. Couple does, couple spikes, couple 2 points. By 6 o'clock, really nice, wide 3-point. This is my first time hunting. I'm thinking I'm taking him home. Well, the guide, which is that man sitting next to me, says, don't shoot him, we're going to get you something better. I trust him. We go to bed that night, we wake up the next morning, and we start looking. Now, any of you who are hunters in here can possibly relate to this experience where you see absolutely nothing. This is what is happening on my second day of hunting, and I have realized that hunting is one of the most boring things you'll do in your whole life. But I have this little bit of hope. We're going back to that field that night. That 3 points coming back. I don't care what anybody says. He's mine. Next night, 5:30 rolls around. Not a deer in sight. 6 o'clock, and the only thing in this field is one little doe and one little spike. Now, I'm thinking I'm not going to survive another day of hunting, so matters need to be taken into my own hands. Now, you all know this is the fall after my accident. I'm not riding my horses. I've been a little frustrated. I feel like God gave me this love, this talent, this passion for riding and competing, yet here I am in this situation where I can't do it like I want to. He must not be listening to my prayers. So we have to pack up a little after 6:30 in this truck. There's 2 guides on this side and my little brother Taylor behind me. I decide I'm going to say a prayer. This is how this prayer goes. All right, God, if you hear me, you listen to me, and you love me, send me a buck. Amen. Now, this may not work for anybody else in this room, but I want to show you what walked out of the woods this day. Thank you. And let me tell you, he walked out on a mission. He was about 250 yards away when he very first walks out of the brush, right? Everyone in the truck is like, oh my gosh. I'm just like, hey, there's my buck. So 250 yards away, he turns broadside, right? Everyone's like, all right, get ready. And I'm just thinking, I need you to come a little closer. This buck's like, okay, that's fine. Puts his head in the air, comes in another 30 yards, turns broadside. I'm like, okay, that's better. This is my first time shooting a big gun. Oh my goodness, I can't even say that. This is my first time shooting a big gun. I really would like you closer. He's like, okay, fine. Puts his head in the air, comes another 20 yards, turns broadside. Everyone in the truck is freaking out. I'm just thinking, can you just come a little closer? I'm sure this deer is thinking, woman, are you kidding me? But he puts his head in the air, continues to come in until he's 100 yards away from me, turns broadside, holds perfectly still. Like I said, this may not work for anybody else in this room. But this deer does now hang on my mother's kitchen wall. And every time I wheel into that kitchen, first of all, I'm reminded that God loves me a lot. Because this is not a wimpy Bambi right here. But secondly, I'm reminded that good things can come out of not so good situations. I'm sure you guys have heard the saying, when life gives you lemons, right? I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I'm riding on a lemon a lot of the time. But moments like shooting that buck or getting to come here and speak with you all, those are those sweeter moments for me. Those are the moments that get me through the harder days, the days when I'm not sure if I can handle this at all. Those are the days that carry me through. You're all going to have lemons thrown at you. Don't be afraid to make something sweeter at them when you do. So after this experience, I thought, you know what, I want to get to my last goal, which was rodeo. I not only wanted to barrel race, but I wanted a breakaway rope. So I do both of those events now. I barrel race and I breakaway rope. I've won rodeos in both of those, had amazing experiences. I ran a rodeo called the American, which is the world's richest one-day rodeo. If you win it, you win $1 million. Unfortunately, I did not win that $1 million. But I did run 2/10 off of the reigning world champion that year. That experience, and that experience on that top right picture. That top right picture is of the first buckle I've won since my wreck. Not only to win a buckle, but to win the 1D, which is the top, and on a horse that I trained. The first horse I've trained since my accident. Both of those experiences have showed me that even though I'm in this chair, even though I'm strapped to my saddle, even though I can't even kick my horse, I can compete with the best out there. Maybe not exactly the way that I planned, but possible. Sometimes the odds are not going to be in your favor. Sometimes you're going to have to dig a little deeper than you ever imagined. But those are the times that you get to realize what you're truly capable of. Now, I want to tell you a story. I do these things called Wheelchair Wednesdays, all right? Where every Wednesday I post a video of something that I do in my chair. These new discoveries that I have, whether it's saddling my horse, bridling my horse, you know, anything you can imagine. Well, one of these Wheelchair Wednesdays was not quite intended. Now, let me tell you, I've avoided welding class through all of high school. You'd see me in the wood shop. You'd see me in every agriculture class. You did not see me in welding. Well, a part of being an agriculture education major is when you get to college, you take welding. So let me tell you about my very first day of welding class, all right? I'm sitting at my table just like every other student, but my professor doesn't know me. He doesn't know I'm in a wheelchair. He walks to the front of the room and he says, "How many of you in here have never welded?" I raise my hand. He said, "How many of you in here are scared to weld?" I again raise my hand. He said, "Tell us, why are you scared to weld?" I said, "Well, I'm afraid that my legs are going to catch on fire and I'm not going to know." He gave me the look like, "What?" I backed my chair up from the table. His jaw drops. He's never had anybody in a wheelchair in his class before. So he's sitting up there and he's contemplating this, and after a minute or so he says, okay, I have an idea. We will just have somebody stand by you with a hose. That way, every time you catch on fire, we will just hose you down. I am thinking, heck no, that is not what we are doing. Now, by the end of the semester, I was able to weld this table as my project. But let me tell you what, that was something that was very outside of my comfort zone. Now, these Wheelchair Wednesdays, everything that I've been able to do with those and that experience have taught me that through hard work and possibly going outside of your comfort zone, you can reach your limits and go beyond them of what you ever imagined you were capable of. So I want to share with you one of my most favorite Wheelchair Wednesdays of a discovery that I pushed myself farther than I ever imagined and was able to figure out something I didn't know I could do.
This is my rope horse Wrangler. He's shorter than my barrel horse. If you guys have been following my Wheelchair Wednesdays, you know that. So at some point I'll try it on my barrel horse, but right now it's just on Wrangler. So, granted, this is only like my 4th time doing this, so we're still a little rusty, but anyway, it's still pretty cool. So in order to do it, I have to reach up on this ladder that's on my trailer, reach my saddle horn, pull myself up, and I can land on the saddle. So it's gonna work.
So that was something that I didn't even know I would be capable of doing. Not literally until did I land in that saddle, I realized what I was capable of. I have this quote I want to share with you that my FFA advisor told me when I was in the hospital. Ability is what you are capable of doing. Motivation determines what you do. Attitude determines how well you do it. Everyone in here has a different ability. That's okay. Because your motivation and your attitude is going to decide what you will accomplish. Don't be afraid to work harder and maybe go outside of your comfort zone in order to reach your full potential. So I have one last video I want to share with you. This is a video that my mom and my sister put together that shows what I've gone through with my horses from the time I was little until last year running in that rodeo, the American.
If everything comes down to love, then just what am I afraid of? When I call out your name, something inside awakes in my soul. How quickly I forget I'm yours. I'm not my own. I've been carried by you all my life. Everything rides on. I hope now everything rides on fate somehow. So when the world has broken me down, yeah, your love sets me free, and everything rides on hope now. And everything rides on fate somehow. So when the world has broken me down, your love sets me free. You become my heart's desire, and I must sing your praise that's higher. 'Cause your love sets me free. And your love sets me free. Your love sets me free. Your love sets me free.
So, about 4 years after my accident, I was invited to speak at an elementary school. I just got done speaking, and these kids were able to ask me questions. So, these elementary school questions are, what's my horse's name? What's my favorite color? These are the types of questions I'm getting. Well, there was this tiny little second grader on the front row raising his hand so politely. I called at him expecting that same type of a question. He said, "If you could go back to that day and change it, would you?" I'll tell you what, this is 4 years after my accident, and nobody has asked me that question before. Yet here is this tiny little boy asking me such a huge thing. The first thing I wanted to say was yes, absolutely, without a doubt. Why would I want to spend any time in a wheelchair? But before I replied to him, I thought about the good things. I thought about the places I've been, the people I've met, the opportunities I've been given because of this silly chair. So I told that group of kids no. I said, I'm a true believer in everything happens for a reason. There's a reason I'm in this chair, and I'm going to serve that purpose. And by the way, I have no doubt in my mind I'm going to walk again. It's not if, it's just when. But that experience reminded me that every single person has a purpose to serve. It might not be exactly what you planned, but there's something that only you can accomplish. Don't be afraid to dig a little deeper, work a little harder, and go outside of your comfort zone in order to reach that full potential. Because you don't know what you could accomplish and whose life you could change because you did that. I want to challenge you that the next time an obstacle comes your way, maybe it's now, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's in a year from now, don't be afraid to keep going. Don't have that obstacle define you, but allow it to refine you into something bigger and better than you ever imagined. I know if you do that, you're going to be able to accomplish more than you ever thought you were able to. And with that, have fun the rest of the week, and thanks for letting me come and speak with y'all.
Ms. Snyder, your unique perspective on life has truly been an inspiration to all of us. Your motivating words have been encouraging not only to members here, but also to others across the nation. Thank you for showing us what it really means to amplify our ability to overcome adversity and take on anything life challenges us with. On behalf of the Kansas FFA Association, please accept this token of our appreciation.
Our goals, our life, our voice. Amplify. FFA.
Tonight, we have highlighted and recognized numerous individuals and chapters who truly understand what it means to amplify our voice, passion, talents, and most importantly, how to amplify those qualities in others so that future agriculturalists can and will be relevant for years to come. It has been an honor to chair the fourth session of the 88th Kansas FFA Convention. At this time, I call upon President Carl Wilhelm to assume the duties of the chair.
Mr. Secretary, do you have a record of any further business which should now be transacted?
Yes, I do, Mr. President. The delegate business session will begin at 7:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. I would like to remind you that a quorum of delegates must be present in order to conduct business, so please attend. Delegates need to be in their correct seats for tomorrow morning's session for chapter roll call and election of next year's state officers. As a reminder, the finalists for the Gator giveaway must be present to win. The following members need to check in backstage before the fifth session, which begins at 9 a.m. Ryan Stewart, Ty Wood, Kristen Isle, Elizabeth Meyer, Andrea Vandermeer Moore, Samantha Beecham, Seth Rudden, Brooke Falk, Riley Van Dong, and Kristen Vinduska. Finally, the fifth session of the 88th Kansas FFA Convention is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Highlights of the fifth session will include conferral of the Kansas FFA degree, agri-science student recognition, the retiring address of your 2015-2016 Kansas FFA Sentinel, Ms. Gabrielle Gillum, as well as the approval of the 2016 Nominating Committee report and the election of your 2016-2017 Kansas FFA officer team.
Does any member know of any new or unfinished business which should properly come before this session? We are about to adjourn this fourth session of the 88th Kansas FFA Convention. As we mingle with others, let us be diligent in labor, just in our dealings, courteous to everyone, and, above all, honest and fair in the game of life. Fellow members and guests, join me in a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now declare this fourth session of the 88th Kansas FFA Convention adjourned.
We lead with our voice, amplify, crank it up, soar it into greatness. There's no such thing as loud enough. We lead with our voice, amplify, crank it up, soar it into greatness. Ain't no such thing as loud enough.
Stand up and get loud. Speak up, speak out. Reach up and take hold. Surge into life, a light that is bold.
Amplify, our goals, our life, our voice. Amplify, FFA. Amplify, our goals, our life, our voice. Amplify. We about that action, honor, integrity. Boost up your impact, up into infinity. Electrify your voice, speak out. Crank it up until it leaves no doubt.
Sprint into a life where we